Create the pond corridor from the Ribbon Home tab, Corridor Tools, select Corridor. In the Corridor Create Corridor dialog, specify a unique and intuitive name for the corridor. For the baseline type, select Feature Line. Then from the pond grading side, select the Dry Pond feature line. Select the berm assembly from the assembly list and the existing surface from the surface target list. When you are all set, click OK. In the baseline and region parameters dialog box, click Apply to rebuild the corridor. The initial corridor settings are default that are intended for standard road design. And to get a more detailed corridor model for your pond, you can increase the region frequencies. Click the ellipsis button in the frequency column for the region you want to edit. In the frequency dialog, reduce the frequency distance along both tangents and curves. This will create more sample points for the corridor model. Click OK to save, then OK to close the corridor properties. Rebuild the corridor to update your drawing. When the corridor finishes updating, notice that the model is improved. Now that the pond corridor has been modeled, the corridor surface can be created. To create the corridor surface, you can use the top link codes from the generic sub-assemblies that were used to create the berm assembly. Select the corridor model in your drawing, then select corridor surfaces from the contextual ribbon. On the Surfaces tab, add a new surface. Specify a unique and intuitive name for the new surface. Then select the style to use for displaying the surface in your drawing. Under Add Data, make sure the data type is set to links. Then select the top links link code to add the surface. Toggle on to add as baseline to influence how the surface triangles are modeled. On the Boundaries tab, add a corridor boundary. Use the option corridor extend as outer boundary to define a shrink wrap boundary. Then click OK. To better with the corridor surface, you can temporarily hide the corridor model. Using the corridor construction menu, hide the corridor object into correct Civil 3D session. The corridor can be turned back on at any time or will redisplay when the drawing file is closed and reopened. The surface contours are helpful to quickly validate your pond model. You can see the gap in the contours at the top and the bottom and over the safety bench. You can validate the exterior daylight grating to ensure catch points have been found. To view the pond model in Civil 3D, use the Object Viewer. In the Object Viewer, pitch and rotate the view to see your pond model from different perspectives. Notice that the pond interior has been filled as a result of surface triangulation. To see the pond's corridor section, use the section editor. In the section editor, lower left viewport, the pond corridor top surface is displayed along with the grading optimization surface. Rounding up the elevation for the pond feature line is easily reflected into surfaces. As you advance to the corridor section, you'll notice that the pond depths are different as well. The preliminary pond grading measures the depth from the freeboard elevation, while the final design measures it from the top of berm. Later, when you can look at the volumes, we'll make sure to correct this in the final model. Now that the pond model has been completed, you can check the earth volumes and pond storage.